What is up, YouTube? Got a special one for you. Got Regenesis mod from Deathwish 2016 is actually what that stands for right there. But we're going to try to cover that as best as we can because I can't show you the back because of the website. That's what she looks like. Got like a zombie on the top right there, says Regenesis. Inside, you get your mod and your tank. I've already taken it out. Same thing that's on the outside is on the inside for like picture. So, but inside you get that little piece of paper, which is kind of cool. Death is not the end, but a new beginning, and this is actually the picture that's on the mod. But we can't show you much of it because it's got websites, QR codes. But you end up getting this nice tool instead of them cheap, flimsy ones that you get. This one's actually a nice one. So, got your cards. Obviously, kind of like what Bogan, all them have inside of theirs. Can't show you the back of them because they got websites and QR codes on them. Okay, now, which I have my mod already out. Had it kind of too tight on the base of that, but trying to break everything down right quick and show you. Say, get your mod. This is the swamp green. That's what she looks like. Got the nice skull on that side. Nice zombie on that side. And then your base, which you actually get a bunch of extra screws and stuff for to rebuild it if you ever need to, like to rebuild the plate. You got your inverted cross as your fire button, Regenesis there, and on the bottom this one says here lies 26, which is the serial number. So pull out the front there, which got some pretty strong magnets. It's a 21700 mech mod. That's your inside, and inside of that, when you open it up, you get a whole bag of these goodies, which, funny enough, there's a squonk pin because obviously people are going to end up putting the tank on something else if they really want to. But you get an Allen wrench, some more grub screws, screws for the top of the mod, some grub screws for the deck, it looks like, some springs, which I don't even know where the springs go, and an Allen key, which I haven't found anything for the Allen key yet, so probably the rebuild in here. Because this actually, if you pull the 4 screws out in here, your whole battery compartment slides out, and then the battery or the fire button will also pop out. Take the top off, pop that off, and basically it's how you clean it. Pretty straightforward and simple. 4 magnets on the door here, so she actually sits pretty tight on in there. Well, once that's out of the way. This is made of aluminum, as you can see. That thing is, it's not going anywhere. I mean, sometimes I have some trouble getting it off. Like, it's a strong magnet. So, sits just like that. Snaps on very well. It's nice in the hand, even with these here, like these little lips. So it fits in the hand perfectly for being kind of a mech mod. Fits in there nicely. Feels great. The whole inverted cross actually fires, not just one part of it, like every little piece that you'll press fires. So Then we got the deck. Inverted cross on that. Your tank is the same kind of thing. Inverted cross on that with a skull on it. Now, 810 drip tip. You can pop top off for your barrel. Inside the barrel is an Ultim piece. That way it doesn't get hot. Helps also with the airflow. So on the honeycomb, if you notice, there's a portion of the honeycombs that aren't drilled out. And it's probably best that they didn't drill them all out, because this thing actually gets quite a bit of airflow. So you don't need a bunch of extra airflow. So with your airflow, you literally just turn just that top piece there. So it's still the inverted cross, and as you can see, it's the airflow that goes across. So the honeycomb that aren't drilled out is the ones that are kind of in the posts going up and down, which, I mean, I don't know why they didn't drill them out. Maybe because it already had enough airflow, which, I mean, it does have a nice amount of airflow. It's not like full open, say, like this for the Valhalla, like, so it is a little restricted, but not by much. I wish it was actually just open a little bit more for my liking, but not too bad. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna throw this on a regulated mod so we can get some coils in here, you know, and omened out, dry fired, all that. But it is an inverted cross. It is 28.5 millimeters all the way around in diameter. I can't remember how tall it is going up and down, but it's about as big as the 30 millimeter Valhalla. Like, it's just literally a hair off. But there's the well. It's like a moat going all the way around. And the reason for the design of the cross is when you have your top on and you drip, so this line that's in here, and you got your coils in, the juice, when it hits that post, no matter what, cascades straight down onto the coils, every drop. It perfectly goes bloop onto the coils, every drip. So it gets dripped evenly no matter what. Now, I have played with it for quite a bit of the day. I do suggest putting some like fast firing coils inside of here, because I had some Kanthal in here, which I like the flavor of Kanthal. You know, I really do. On some of, like, say, the Valhalla, or a couple of the other tanks that I have, because, like, say this right here, a Saga with the Valhalla on it. It fires pretty well. Now, with this, for some reason, when I put it together and put Kanthal coils inside of the tank, it fired really, really slow. Like, the ramp up was way too slow. Like, way, way slow, even though it's a mech mod. And I think it's because it has to do with just it being one battery. If it was two, like the Saga, then it'd get a little bit more power to ramp them up just a little bit quicker, because it's Kanthal, it ramps up slow. But since you only got the one battery running at so many volts, it's gonna ramp up a few seconds slower. So you got to do that old-fashioned, like, if you run Kanthal inside of that. So I threw some Hive coils in there. Ramp up was a little bit quicker, but they're still Kanthal. So it was like, well, so I got to bust out the old Nichrome, see if we can't ramp it up a little bit quicker. And what I have found, actually, and it was even Mooch was talking about it with this type of battery that's in here, it's a Molicel. The Molicel P24A and the P24B. So, like, if you build your coil for the RDA that comes on top of this, at least like 0.2 ohms, the battery can handle it since it's one battery. Now, I don't know how true that is. I don't really highly suggest it because normally I always build my mech mods, no matter what, at the least a 0.4 ohms, Ohm's law and safety. So if that battery can't handle that low of, say, ohms, and it vents, you don't get hurt. Because you got to remember, a mech mod, like say this Saga is a series mod, it runs about, with the voltage and the way you build, usually at about 200 watts is what it is, like a hammer of God. It's a parallel series. So if you throw, say, a 0.5 ohm build inside of a 30 millimeter Valhalla with some just regular like 22 gauge Canthal that I have here, it still runs at about 275 watts. That's how a mech mod runs. And since the Regenesis is a mech mod, but it's also a hybrid, you got to be really safe. So I don't know about the low ohms with it, but I've seen a few videos now, people building at anywhere from 0.1 ohms to 0.3 ohms with the Regenesis, and it working perfectly fine, as long as you have a good like battery that can handle it. Which in my opinion, and everybody's got different opinions, but from what I have done in the past year, Mala cell batteries are the top-notch batteries. Like my Saga, I can go 3 days without charging them things, and I've never had a problem with a Mala cell battery ever in a mech mod. Now I've got some Samsungs, I've got some Best Fire, I've even got E-Fests. The only ones that come close to even the Mala cells for them is like the Samsungs. That's it. Now, but still low ohm builds, I don't know. But that'll be some other time. We're going to get to building on this thing here. So we got some staggered Claptons. They're nichrome. Looks like 8 wraps a piece. I don't know if I want to go with 8 wraps or if I want to go with the 6 wraps, because I mean, it's got a big post, just like the Valhalla did. So I can fit 8 wraps in here quite easy, actually. Yeah, I could fit an 8 wrap coil in there all day long. 2 of them, though, I don't know. But we're going to try. That's just how I do it. I always push my mods to the limit so I know what they can handle and what they can't handle. So we're going to go with the 8 wraps. And they are nichrome, so they should fire fast. 3 millimeter, or no, 2.5 millimeter diameter on the inside diameter of them, which I make my own coils. I don't mess with buying pre-made coils. I always just buy wire and make my own. So I don't mess with all that other stuff. Like, I do have pre-made ones, but I only use them in literally certain tanks. Like if I'm doing my mech mods or my RDAs, I build my own stuff. I found that everything always comes out tasting better. It always comes out hitting better. Everything all the way around is just better when you build it yourself. Kind of like general life. It's just better to do it yourself. What did our parents teach us? If you want it done right, do it yourself. I don't know if we'll be able to fit 2 of these in here. Because these are pretty big. Like the coils fit in there. I'm talking like putting 2 in there because it's just like a velocity deck, trying to put two of them in the same hole. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can get them to go in there, but it's gonna be pretty tight. Okay, so we got that side in, so we're gonna screw this one down. That way it's not still bouncing in and out. So far, the only problem I've had with this is like the first time I built on it today. It came almost faulty to where I had to kind of like rebuild it because the whole cross was loose and I had to actually like screw everything back together. It was kind of weird. I have never actually received any RDA or mod in the mail that I had to rebuild, actually, except for one. Like, I actually hit, like, first Hammer of God I ever got, I actually had to, like, rebuild and adjust that whole mod, weirdly enough. And the Valhalla, I had to readjust the pin. But this thing was, like, the whole post deck was just unscrewed, loose, everything. It was quite weird to receive something like that. Let's get these positioned. Yeah, see, these are 8-wrap staggered Claptons. I don't remember what the own. Yeah, Nichrome 80 staggered Claptons. It's 32 gauge, 2 times 32 gauge, so it's 32 gauge, double wrapped basically. Always get them nice and tight, and you never want your stuff to be loose inside of a mod ever. Never turns out well. I've actually had that happen once, and I think I've actually seen sparks come out before. So, there's the build. And that's why I said them are 8 wraps. Staggered Claptons. And then, look at that thing. Inverted cross. Looks like we need to take that one and kind of tilt her down a little bit. Because what I'm trying to do is keep everything level with the cross right there. Because right there on that cross also for your actual, like your cap on your RDA is where your airflow's at. So it's actually kind of cool that they set the tank, the RDA up like that too. So like when you build and you're adjusting your coils, if you keep them straight right there with that bar that goes across, that should be straight across with this too, because this airflow goes straight across right where them coils are at. So like when you're adjusting, you can legitly go just straight across right there. So now we're gonna slap a couple batteries in here. Probably sitting at I want to say 0.2 to 0.3 ohms, which should be safe from what I've heard. I'm gonna take a couple people's suggestions and okay, so we're sitting at about 0.2 ohms. Alright, so now we're gonna dry fire. Make sure we ain't got no hot spots. I'm not seeing none, so I'm not doing any, not while pulsing anyways. See it. I see one. Okay, now we're going to turn it up a little bit. Looks like we need to squeeze them together a little bit more. I just had my other tweezers. I'll have to use these ones then. There we go. Hot spot gone. And she's glowing nice and even. This side we're gonna give it a nice little squeeze again. Like she's glowing even, but I still need it to get a little bit closer right here on the one side. All right, we're gonna let that cool down a minute, and we'll sit here and chit chat about it. So, the Regenesis all together, which actually I can pull it up here right quick. The tank itself, 28 millimeter diameter with a unique crucifix post design with a domed deck for easy wicking, squonk ports at base of the post, steppable airflow, solid 510 pin and squonk pin are included in the Regenesis mech mod. It is squonk. But honestly, who's gonna use the squonk? You know, the RDA is 28 millimeter. There's all sorts of different colors for the thing. The mod itself, I don't remember how many millimeters tall it is or any of that, but I mean, fits in my hand quite well actually, and I've got big hands, so. But it fits perfectly in my hand. It's not heavy, even with the battery in it. Like, I'm pretty sure if it was a dual 21700, she'd have some more weight to her. It is aluminum all the way around. Same on the top, aluminum post gold plated. And what it meant by the post deck thing was this line here, like I was telling you, for when you're dripping it, drips, it cascades evenly. Got the dome deck, and the other thing too about the deck is you see the notch right there. So when you go to put your um, your barrel on, the inside there is two notches, so it does not like turn, like it doesn't constantly turn when you actually have it up on there. So when you actually go to put it on, don't just cram the RDA on there either, because it does have notches to where it has to go into. Alright, we're gonna get some wick ready. Probably still pretty hot. Not too bad. I only had it on 50 watts doing that, so I usually keep it on a low watts when I'm pulsing. But then when I've got it like in there and I've got it kind of spaced out where I need it to be, hot spot's gone, I'll turn it up a little bit and like do a nice long hard pressing glow just to make sure. So I'll kick it usually up to like usually 50 watts, no higher than that. And since this is nichrome, hopefully this fires up pretty quickly inside the Regenesis. So oh, I might have got the cotton a little too tight in there. So yeah, we're gonna go with a little tighter, a little smaller than that. So wasn't 2.5 millimeter that I made on that one, then it was probably a 2 millimeter, which is fine with me because like this weld that's on here holds a lot of cotton. So even if you got thin, like you're not putting a lot of cotton in, like you can legitimately lay a lot of cotton all the way around the whole thing. So every time I use this nichrome staggered Clapton, though, it can be a pain in the butt, but just because of how it's designed, like it's got a little notches in it that kind of snag the cotton quite a bit, almost like if you're messing with mesh, like it snags cotton a little bit. And we never throw cotton away. I always throw it over there. Never know when you're gonna need a little bit of extra. And if you break it all apart, you can always put it back together. I've actually done that a couple of times. So it's just weird holding on to the batteries like that. But while I was actually using it for the most part of the day, even though it was like a slow ramp up, when I got it ramped up, you know, I do the old blowing out in it, you know, and then taking a hit, kind of to warm the coils up like we used to back in the day type kind of hits. It was it's a nice vape. It really is. It's a really nice, smooth type vape. Alright, so we're going to cut these off kind of long because since this is that baking cotton, I want to fluff it out some and then we'll clean her up. Now we can come in and kind of clean it up a little bit. And you can keep your wicks long if you want. You can keep them short. You got this big old moat right here to hold cotton, so and as you can see, all that cotton fit in there perfectly, and there's still more room for more cotton. And I'd put a lot of cotton in there, actually, like quite a bit. So now we're gonna get her juiced up. Let's see, when you drip on that, you can actually see it run down the lines. Actually, it runs straight down the lines, not fast, but it does. It slowly runs down the lines, going down to the coils right here, well, the wick underneath the coils. So that's actually kind of a neat way to build that. I like how they made the circle domed kind of moat too for the deck. Leaves a lot more space for coils or for cotton, and for juice to be sucked up in the cotton. The way the deck's set up on here is nice too. Now I'm gonna have to agree with like Grim Green though. Like on the mech mod, it would have been cool with like the here lies for the serial number and then like the 2 pictures on it, but we didn't really need it to say Regenesis on the door that big anyways. Like he doesn't like the font of it. I don't mind the font, but like that big saying Regenesis, we probably could have put that Regenesis somewhere else, like say on the lip saying Regenesis here, and probably like another cool picture here. Like I would have put the zombie probably right here, and then keep the skeleton there, and then pick something else to put right here, or another picture right here. But we didn't need the Regenesis right there because nobody's even gonna see that name anyways, and you're really not gonna see the pictures when you're hitting on this unless you're hitting on it like this. So I mean, didn't really need much of any of it on there, and I'm all about the aesthetics along with the quality of the vape itself too. But we didn't need it to say Regenesis that big. That's why I kind of like the Saga like really well too, because they didn't take and put Saga on it, like blasting the name of the mod everywhere, which we don't need. None of us cares about, like, we all care about the name of the mod to a point, but we don't need it blasted on the product. We want the quality of the vape. We want the quality and the durability of the RDA. We want the quality and the durability of the tank itself, the mod itself. We don't give one shit, about the name. The pictures are cool though, but anything else, we didn't need like a big name. You want to advertise your stuff? Hey, that's what us YouTubers are for. So. See, now on a regulated mod, this thing has got some wicked airflow. Tastes amazing though, and she's a heavy hitter. And I've got some heavy hitter mech mods, but it still doesn't come close to like my Hammer of God. Alright, so she is good to go. I overfilled it a little bit, so let's clean her up. Alright, so we can take it off that. Now, we are going to test out. The whole shebang. Alright, so this is Regenesis by Deathwish Mods. This is the swamp green color. Airflow wide open. This is what the whole thing looks like all the way around together. Sits on there perfectly. I have actually thrown the Valhalla on top of here too. It sits on there with just like a slight hair of overhang, so not bad though. And see, that's what I'm saying. When you get it on this mod, for some reason, it's got a slow ramp up, no matter what. So I think it's like having to do with that battery. But still hits smoothly though. It's not a hard hitter. It's a smooth hitter. Still chucks clouds. Even with Nightchrome in here, like the ramp up is still fast but slow. So it's not bad. So like a cloud, compared to say a cloud from this, same juice. I mean, different coils, yeah. But definitely, she's smoother on the draw, smoother on the hit. That's why I said, I don't know, maybe it's the battery. I mean, I've got a pretty strong battery in there, a pretty strong Molicel battery, so... It's got a Molicel P42A inside of there, a 21700. That's 4200 milliamps. So it's a strong battery. So for a heavy hitter, to a point, if you're somebody that takes, long draws, like a lot of times I do, but it's not as much of a heavy hitter as, like I said, say a Valhalla or even like Hammer of God kind of mech mod. And the pin on the bottom of the RDA is adjustable to a point, but as far as I've seen, that's to take the squonk pin out, and if you loosen it up, it loosens up the deck post itself, the crucifix, or the cross, though, too. So, I don't think it's the contact of the battery. I mean, actually it could be. I mean, we're getting vapors, just a slow ramp up, see. It's just a really smooth hit. So, for my ratings of stuff, I'm gonna have to give it, because of like whatever I put in there, a slow ramp up and how smooth it is. I'd like it to be a heavier hitter. I'm gonna knock a couple points off from that. Um, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Build quality is amazing. I mean, straight metal all the way around. Looks, the aesthetics are actually really good. RDA's really good. I just, all the way around, it's really good. Except for the slow ramp up. I just. I guess if you have a juice, it's kind of like a throat hitting kind of juice. It wouldn't be too bad because you'd get that, like, you know. So let's try a different juice. Let's try this chocolate mint coffee. This one's a little bit harder of a hitting juice, so. Still smooth on that too. So it's just a mech mod that's, you know, a smooth hitter. At that point, getting pretty cloudy in here, so I kick the fan up a little bit so we're not setting off no fire alarms. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10. Packaging is amazing. Build quality is amazing for RDA. Easy to build on the RDA. All around, it's pretty good. So let's take the RDA though and see how she hits on something that's an actual, like, not a hybrid mech mod, because that is actually a hybrid because your contact is actually touching the battery, unlike, say, Saga. And as you can see, it fast fires on the Saga. So it could be just the type of battery that you use inside of it, or it could just be the mod being just like a soft hitter. Great taste and airflow. Whew, she's a hard hitter if you put her on another mech. Wow. Okay, so let's take the RDA then and put it on a regulated. For people that may not want to use, say, the mech mod, you can still order the tank from what I have seen on there too. And if you have just, say, a regulated mod, and you want just the tank, because they come in all sorts of different kind of cool colors. She works perfect on there too. So yeah, we're gonna give her a 7 out of 10. That is the Deathwish mod. That's the Regenesis 21700 hybrid mech mod on the RDA that comes with it. Now, I can't give you a price and I can't give you a website, because what I paid for the mod, you guys could probably get cheaper somewhere. You know, I've seen all sorts of different prices. They're not giving them away by all means. I've seen them go anywhere from $100 to $200 to $300. So that's my review on that. It could be just a little bit more power, a little bit better in the mod itself. Like I said, it could just be the battery that I have for the 21700s. I'll see if I can't find something a little bit stronger to push more power, but it being only one battery, and usually one battery don't push a lot of power in any mod. So we're gonna keep building on it. We're gonna keep testing it out for the week, and we'll come back and we'll do a build on that and a couple other RDAs to kind of compare a lot of them together. Like I'm gonna probably get another couple more um, mech mods and kind of compare them together, see which ones are like best. Like say series mech mods, parallel mech mods, like Hammer God that's a parallel series, a 21700 hybrids, all that type of stuff. But for that one, I'm gonna stick with my 7 out of the 10. The packaging's beautiful. The mod itself's beautiful. The tank itself is beautiful. With the right battery, the right coils, the right setup, the thing could be one of the best. Um, Up there with like a Hammer of God Valhalla kind of setup. Mox Opal out.